So you want to make high quality video, but you don't want to carry around a whole bunch of stuff because carrying stuff sucks. Let's talk about what I use in my minimalist video making kit. What's up, everybody? I'm the Everyday Dad. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. And we are coming to you from Las Vegas. We're out here for NAB. You can see, look, can you see from my gross window that, you can see from my gross window that we are here in Las Vegas for NAB. Excited to see a whole bunch of new gear, a whole bunch of new tech. Gonna check out some cameras, bring you guys some awesome content. But it got me thinking, if you remember back to my CES 2019 video, I had like a whole kit and bag, and I brought all this stuff. And do you know how much of it I used? None of it. Today we're gonna talk about what I use just in general from now on when I go to conventions, when I go to places, and when I just don't want to carry a bunch of stuff. Because I really get sick of just carrying a whole bunch of stuff around. So basically my main video camera from now on when I'm out and about is the DJI Osmo Pocket. I know I've released a whole bunch of videos on the Osmo Pocket. When it first came out, I wasn't necessarily sold on it. But now it's got some firmware updates and has some new additional features. It's actually a camera that I really enjoy using. But not just the Osmo Pocket. I've got my little accessory pouch here. I bought a few accessories that really enhance its abilities to capture good video. First off, I got this little accessory cage from Polar Pro. I bought it on Amazon for like 20 bucks. You're not gonna be able to see it because I have face tracking autofocus on, but what it does is it's this little cage thing for the Pocket that gives you two little 3.5 millimeter mounting options. Now, if you remember all of my other videos, my biggest complaint was the lack of mounting options on the Osmo Pocket. So this thing very easily gives you the ability to mount it on a tripod, horizontally or vertically. I really like it. But an additional thing about this specific cage, and the reason I got it, is the second accessory I bought was the scroll wheel. Now, when the Osmo Pocket was first announced and they said what accessories they were gonna come with it, I was least impressed with this scroll wheel. I was like, okay, who cares? It does stuff that it already does, but physically. However, I did purchase this a few weeks ago, and since then it has transformed the Osmo Pocket for me for a couple of reasons. One, if you're traveling out and about, or you want to do B-roll of where you're at, you really want to have smooth motion. You want to have movement in video, because if you don't have movement, you might as well be staring at a picture. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the video itself has to be moving, but there needs to be some kind of movement. And if everything's kind of static, it helps to move the camera around a bit. So what I really like about this scroll wheel is it gives you the ability to have much finer control over the movement of the camera. You can set it to do horizontally or vertically, and you can have some really fine adjustment in it. That frankly is awesome to me. The stabilization and the slow movement give you a very big advantage when you're trying to make mobile content. And another big benefit that I like is you normally have to triple tap to go into the vlogging mode. Like right now, hey, we're in vlogging mode, what's up? But now you just press this button. There's one button on there, right here. You just press that once, and it flips. Now, again, I know that sounds like it's not a big deal, but I've screwed up, and trust me, as somebody that drinks a lot of coffee, I'm a little too shaky to have to press something 3 times, so having to press it once, so much better. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my video platform. But one of the problems with the Osmo Pocket is there is the ability to capture audio. They now have an audio adapter, but I don't want an audio adapter. Much like the GoPro, I don't use the GoPro audio adapter because it's like a hassle to carry it around with that. So I don't use the audio adapter here. When we're talking about my audio solutions here, let's move this out of the way. When we're talking about audio solutions, my favorite way to record audio externally, well, my favorite budget way, my actual favorite way is what we're doing right now, and we'll talk about that here in a second, is the Zoom H1N. So I'm going to use this to record all of my audio if I have to do any talking. A lot of times I'm probably not going to do a lot of talking. It's just going to be me trying to check out the cool stuff. But if I do need to, if I'm going to talk to somebody or we're going to do a mini interview or something, I've got the Zoom H1. This is one of the best, tiniest audio recorders you can get. I love this thing. I use it all the time. If you see me make a video with a camera that doesn't have easy access to an audio jack, that audio is coming from the Zoom H1N. I also brought my Rode Smart Lav lavalier mic to plug into this because you can mic yourself up if need be, or where did it go? Ooh. Or if it's more of an interview thing, I've got this little fuzzy cover for it, so we can blah 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 blah. Lots of blahs. That's what we do. It's a YouTuber thing. We say blah a lot. So my audio solution, basically the only audio solution I wanted to bring until a couple of days ago, was the Zoom H1N. So we've got the video, we've got the audio. What else are we bringing? Well, so like right now we're on the Sony A6400. I'm bringing this along just to take photos and to make this series of like videos about NAB. I'm not planning on carrying this with me, so I don't really consider the A6400 part of my mobile video platform, just because I'm not going to be taking all of the A6400 stuff with me into NAB. I'm just going to be taking the Sigma 50mm 1.4 lens just to take some cool photos of stuff if I do see anything that I want to check out. And I've got an ND filter for it too that's somewhere over here, because I did bring too many ND filters. But if I do decide that I want to do video with the A6400, I did bring along an extemporaneous thing. Okay, I'm not a true minimalist. I brought along an extra little thing, and that's the kit lens, the 16-50 kit lens. I really like this for video. It's one of my favorite lenses of all time just because of how small it is. It's got stabilization built into it. I know it's not the most like optically sound lens, but I don't understand why this lens gets such a bad rap. This is one of the best things Sony ever came up with. A power zoom that's this small. It makes it look like you have a point and shoot and nobody cares. Like, nobody cares when you have this lens. The bigger your camera gear, the more people start to care. So that is the lens situation. So I make all this video, right? But then how do I edit it and get it to you? Well, I brought my trusty iPad Pro. This is the iPad Pro 11-inch from 2018, and this is one of my favorite things Apple has ever made. Like, I love this iPad. It will be able to be my editing platform. I can check social media stuff. I can upload straight from this. It's just, I love it. I love this thing. If I could plug in an external hard drive straight to this, I probably would get rid of my iMac. This will be super powerful. And if you were watching this video right now, if this is actually uploaded and I was successful in making this video, it was edited and uploaded straight from this. So here's hoping. One of the problems though, you'll notice that I'm using a Sony camera for this, and Sony files do not play well with the MacBook Pro. You can't just plug in your SD card through the dongle. For some reason, like, Sony files will not be picked up by the iPad Pro. So what are we gonna do? Well, thanks to my friend Photo Gear Fun for turning me onto this. This is the Rav Power. I forget exactly what this thing is called. This is the Rav Power. It's like a wireless SD card hub. So you plug an SD card in here, then you can wirelessly transfer the files. That's exactly how I transfer the files from the Sony to the iPad, is I turn this on, turn on the Wi-Fi, and transfer. Is it the fastest? No, but it's totally doable. So without this thing, I would be in trouble. Plus, you're always gonna need extra battery power, right? Well, this thing doubles as a portable battery. This is one of the best. Thank you, Photo Gear Fun, because this is one of the best purchases I've ever made. I love this thing. Speaking of power, I did bring some extra batteries for the A6400. Not too many. I brought the charger, but I don't plan on bringing the charger anywhere. I kind of regret bringing these extra batteries. I don't think I'll actually use them. Because again, lessons learned, I brought all this camera gear to CS and then didn't use any of it except the Osmo Pocket. The Osmo Pocket's really the star of this whole show. So I mentioned like the gear that I'm currently using right now. I don't really consider it part of my mobile video production platform, but it might turn into that. So the audio you're hearing right now is actually coming out of an XLR microphone. So this is my Audio-Technica 875R. It's the microphone that you hear on all of my normal videos, but how are we doing that? How are you getting that every day, Dad? Well, let's grab the Osmo Pocket. So if you've been following me on social media for the last few weeks, you know that I've started a podcast called The Crop Factor, and I'll leave a link for that in the description below if you'd very much like to hear it. But I wanted to get some really good audio for that because it's a podcast, right? So my now preferred, like, I love this thing for my audio solution out and about, is the Sound Design Mix Pre 3 in here. We'll show it to you right there. It has XLR adapters, it has stereo adapters, it has all sorts of awesome stuff built into it. You can see the levels right there as I'm talking. It's got a lot of manual buttons, and I love manual buttons, which is why I got this scroll wheel in the first place. But yeah, you can power it through an external battery, which is what we're doing right now. We've got an external battery set up right here, just plugged into the side over here. You can power it anywhere, you can bring it anywhere. It's tiny, it just works, and it has great audio capabilities. It's expensive as heck, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for somebody's first audio device, but that is the audio that you're currently hearing. And if you hear the podcast, that is where the audio for the podcast also comes from. And it's just like a quick thing. This is where the podcast is recorded and uploaded. iPad Pros, they're amazing. So what do you guys use in your minimalistic video production? Leave a comment below. I like to hear what other people use because sometimes it gives me great ideas on what I would like to use. Because again, I wanted everything to be able to fit in I almost didn't even bring my camera bag because all of this stuff can basically fit in my pocket. Like, it's the Osmo Pocket, a lens, and the A6400 for photos, and the Zoom H1n. Okay, it'd be a big pocket. Thanks for watching.